Hello, patriots and liberals. There's a good MCAG always says this. Anyway, I've got a message for the liberals. I know they watch my videos. I know conservatives do, but I want literally to just say one thing to the liberals. I need a question answered. After Mark Carney lied about retaliatory tariffs, he said in the leaders' debate there were tariffs on America. There weren't any tariffs. He took them away a day before. He lied about retaliatory tariffs. His family were in Jeffrey Epstein's black book. He keeps lying about everything on the carbon tax. He said the carbon tax was far too small, and then he took away the carbon tax, but there's still the industrial one. How do you still support Carney when he lied about retaliatory tariffs? And how he lied about so many things, and how his family's in Jeffrey Epstein's black book. Now he's got photos with Ghislaine Maxwell. How do you still support him? I would love to know, because maybe there's something I'm not seeing here. After the Liberals stole $1 billion from the Green Slush Fund and refused to table the unredacted documents from the STTC. Canada is broken. They elected criminals into Canada, and this is borderline criminal offence. And then take a look what happened with the peaceful protesters in the Freedom Convoy. Look, the people who organised the Freedom Convoy has been facing over 1,400 days in prison. The Canadian government of Canada wanted them to at least 10 years in prison for peacefully protesting. But you know who should be arrested? The people that froze the single mother's bank account when she donated $15 to the trucker. The RCMP that was rampaging through these old age pensioners, these old people, they were they had the RCMP got their horses and they just trampled through all of them. The people that Justin Trudeau that called these peoples Nazis. Now, apparently there was someone waving a Nazi flag. Either he was planted or he was waving it to show how the Canadian government were acting. There's no Nazis in Canada. You don't get Nazis in Canada. It's not a thing, as Jordan Peterson said. It's not a thing. And the Canadian government tried to put these people that created the Freedom Convoy in prison for 10 years for mischief. Mischief? This is happening at the same time whilst hundreds of people in Canada are out on bail committing crimes. What we do with murderers in Canada is we arrest them, let them out on bail so they can commit more murders. The same 60 offenders were arrested thousands of times. Some prisoners are arrested in the morning, arrested in the afternoon, and arrested in the evening because they're out on bail. We need jail or not bail for repeat violent offenders. We're not talking about some silly teenager that made a silly mistake. We're talking about people that keep on causing crime. There's also, if you ask any Canadian what's the worst criminal, they'll say Paul Burano. He was the biggest Canadian rapist and serial killer. And what did they do to him? He was in a maximum security prison. But what did the Liberals in Canada do? They put him in a medium security prison where he can play hockey and interact with more people. And this comes as a few months ago someone escaped from a medium security prison. The Toronto Sun. Hundreds of people charged with murder while on bail. In Canada, a G7 country, people on bail commit murder. With all the scandals the Liberal government has done, with all the scandals Justin Trudeau has done, why should we elect a fourth Liberal term? Oh, it's Mark Carney. Oh. Sure, Mark Carney might have a better haircut, might have a polished suit, might not wear stupid sneakers, but he's a crook. We need to be honest. He's not as bad as Trudeau. He's much more worse than Trudeau. He's much more worse. He's very worse. But sadly, Canadians elected a fourth Liberal term, but with a minority. And also good news, the majority of the Canadian House of Commons voted for the minority Liberal government to table a budget, and the Liberals don't want to do that because they don't want to say how horrible, how they'll spend these millions of taxpayers' money. Probably contracts to Mackenzie. And it's so funny. In Canada, we let people out on murder to commit more murders. And the biggest heist in North American history, multiple arrests, 19 charged, stole $2.2 million in gold heist. They got released on bail. Welcome to Canada, where we let the criminals out. And the organizer of this heist was allowed to flee this country, flee Canada. How stupid. So if you commit a crime in Canada, that's fine. But if you peacefully protest a tyrannical government that tries to freeze your bank accounts and trample old people with the horses, that's a crime. Get locked up in prison. And this is horrible. Just a man in BC was caught with suspicious stuff on his computer, and he is allowed house arrest, and basically it's just horrible. This man should be just put in prison for the rest of his life. Plus, in Canada, the same 40 offenders were arrested 6,000 times. 6,000 times. 40. This is unacceptable. Crime has gone too high, and Canadians vote in Mark Carney just because of Donald Trump. Just because the guy, Donald Trump, said he would rather have Mark Carney in. So they vote Carney in. The real issues in this campaign weren't Donald Trump. It was crime, housing, inflation. Inflation is still rocket high. Inflation is still high. Crime is horrible. The bank heist. People were let out on bail. Murderers. Literally, I read that report. Murderers are let out on bail to do more murderers. This is unacceptable. We need a change. We need a non-confidence motion. We need to vote Pierre Poilievre for Prime Minister. We need to bring it home, and we need to stop the crime. Jail, no bail. We need to do this, Canada. Let's bring it home.